Hey everyone, and welcome back to FSi DFS. Today we're going to be looking at this 6-game early slate on DraftKings. It is an ugly slate for pitching. It's very muddied with just, offenses that are in fine spaces, fine spots, just given how bad the pitching kind of is on this slate. So tread lightly if you are going to be playing this one. I know I'm going to be treading very lightly on this. It's just tough to kind of get a good read. Nobody really is, cutting away the best play at pitcher. No offense, I think, is absolutely the must play at the bats. Some obviously teams still are cropping up above the rest. But yeah, overall, just an ugly slate. Weather-wise, it looks perfect. There's going to be some extremely hot temperatures throughout the country today, including some of these games approaching triple digits. So maybe the ball carries a little bit more, and given the pitching that's on the slate, we could see some high totals going on today. So let's just kind of dive right into it. This is kind of where I was leaning. I mean, first look, I didn't dive super deep into it, but still, Castillo I have as like the top pitcher. Garcia's up at the top at 9.2K, going up against Texas. Fine matchup. Just he doesn't have like an extremely high strikeout rate, all things considered, and like his ceiling is kind of limited because of that. So you can kind of see it through here. And then just like looking at the analytics, diving deeper into his metrics, it's tough to really get excited and paying 9.2K for this guy in heat that could be approaching triple digits in Texas. So yeah, is he a okay play? Sure. But like I said, this slate is full of pitchers that are just not exciting at all. Sonny Gray, he's coming off the IL. He's got one of the better strikeout rates of any pitcher on this slate. So like I have very strong interest in him. However, he is coming off of the IL, 15-day IL. Just down here in the analysis, it says that he could maybe only could be going 4 innings. He only pitched a 30 pitch simulated game. So how much you look into simulated games, I'm not 100% sure, but just a 30 pitcher simulated game, maybe he goes 50, maybe he goes 60. But if he's only going to be getting 4 innings going up against Seattle, 8.8K is just a little bit too pricey for 4 innings. However, with this K rate, look at this. He's got a 4-inning game against Cleveland with 8 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts. He hit 20 and 17 points. So is it possible? Sure. Is it exciting? No, not really. Zach Allen going up against Cincinnati. He's like my least favorite of these top 4 guys. He started off the season in great. He's really kind of tailed off. His June has been pretty ugly, and even kind of at the end of the May, it was pretty ugly for him as well. He's allowing a lot of hits. He's allowing a lot of runs, home runs. Obviously correlates with that. But now he's got Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they're not as bad as they were to start off the season. Their offense finally coming back into form. So he's probably my least favorite here. But Castillo, I mentioned, he's probably my favorite. We know the upside that this guy does have. You can see right here against Boston. He had a 35 DK point game. He's got, the strikeout potential, but he also does have a limited floor to him. We know that in the past seasons, he's kind of like a boomer bust guy. He has shown much more consistency so far this season, which is a bonus. But still, he's got a nice matchup going up against Arizona. He's cheaper than all the other top guys. I think the matchup and the price, his ceiling, and just a little bit more consistency from him this season is kind of one of the reasons why I have him ranked as like my favorite top play here. Going into the mid tier, Gibson up at the top. I could see him, in previous slates, he's been kind of the chalky cash pitcher. And I can kind of see that going this way as well, just with nobody really sticking out. People are just gonna be like, why pay 9.2K for a slightly above average guy when I could just get an average guy for 2K cheaper? I totally understand that route. So I could see Gibson getting some decent ownership here, which kind of actually makes me like Miami in terms of bats, in terms of like GPP plays, leverage plays, especially if we see that Gibson is getting quite a bit of ownership here. Miami actually ranks as the number 4 team in WRC plus. WRC plus, it just kind of takes like all the metrics together and puts them into one kind of lump sum. So it takes in like your on base percentage, your isolated power, your slugging percentage, all of that, batting average, and Miami ranks out as the 4th best offense against right-handed pitching. So if Gibson is seeing some chalk this season or today, I do have some interest in Miami, but we'll talk about that more once we get to the bats. But still, I think Gibson probably does stand out among the rest of these guys. Velasquez, he's coming off the IL. He's kind of with the Sonny Gray. I don't know how deep he's going to go. He's not Sonny Gray's level. He does not have that strikeout ability that Sonny Gray has, and he's got more of a blow-up potential as well. So am I excited about it? Absolutely not. But he's going up against Detroit, who ranks dead last in pretty much every category against right-handed pitching this season. So that's kind of one of the reasons why he's there. But I'm not excited about it. Gonzalez and Faedo kind of rounding things out in here. Gonzalez, fine play, especially at 6.5K. Minnesota's got average numbers against left-handed pitching so far this season. So totally fine. And then Faedo, man, this pitching slate is just so gross. And then down at the bottom, I don't really have interest in much of anybody. He easily had a fantastic game last time out. He was going up against Baltimore, so take it with a grain of salt. But he's shown that he can go deep into games, 80, 90 pitches. So at 6.1K, typically I get excited about guys who can go 90 plus pitches and are only 6K. But he's got a tough matchup going up against San Francisco, strong winds blowing out there as well in the weather. So yeah, yeah, this pitching is just so gross. I don't know where I'm going to be going yet, to be completely honest with you. So let's just turn towards the bats. Philadelphia, I got as the top stack on the day today. I just like their matchup. I also like the prices of these guys. Castano, they have him looking more of like a bullpen game for Miami. But just kind of the hitters for Philadelphia, even though they're two big hitters of Harper and Schwarber are left-handed pitching or are left-handers, Philadelphia actually hits left-handed pitching very well. They have over half their lineup is hitting over 200 ISO and close to a 400 WOBA against left-handed pitching. So I think they're my favorite stack on the day, and they're very affordable. RHYS Hoskins, he's been hitting the ball very well as of late. And at 4.1K, I have a lot of interest in him at first base, especially in cash games. I don't mind him. Alec Bohm, 3.3K, he's cheap. He's also got great numbers. He's kind of lumped into that mix that I was talking about, having a nice ISO and a pretty decent WOBA. Didi Gregorius, 4.1K, he's hitting over 300 on the season. Believe it or not, it's not going to give you too much power, but he's got fantastic numbers there. And then Harper and Schwarber, I don't mind either of these guys as well. Let me take Gregorius out. Let me throw in Harper, just kind of see where we're at with everything. Next up, I got Houston going up against, oh dear, who are they going up against? Going up against Miller. I mentioned it's going to be hot in Texas, so I'm going to have some strong interest in Houston. Obviously, the first guy in your lineup would be Yonani Alvarez. This guy's numbers are off the chart against right-handed pitching. It's insane. The numbers, he's got video game numbers against right-handed pitching. So he would be my first guy in. So you're probably not going to be able to get Alvarez along with all these guys. Maybe you will. I don't know. I haven't really done too much building. I just know that salary is not going to be too much of an issue on this slate, especially if you throw in Castillo. Even if you go up to Garcia, you can easily, jam in Alvarez. It's going to be tough to pay up for a second Houston bat. Gurriel's kind of like the cheap guy, but he's first base. I got Hoskins there, so maybe don't go Garcia. Maybe go somebody else. Maybe you like Gibson, like I was talking about earlier. Then throw in 2.9K. Hey, totally possible. It's totally possible to get a Houston Philadelphia stack. That'd probably be one of my favorites. Just in terms of what I think they can provide in upside. San Francisco Giants, Chicago White Sox, kind of round things out in the top. Not super excited about it, but it's just kind of everything's jumbled together. When you have a whole bunch of pitchers that are just meh, you kind of get offenses that are kind of all in good spots. You can kind of make the case for pretty much anybody. The Philadelphia and Houston would be my favorite too. As far as GPP, Miami, I kind of hinted at it earlier, going up against Gibson, especially if Gibson is going to see some nice ownership. Jesus Sanchez would be one of the guys that I would be having in there. Jazz Chisholm for sure. And then the third guy I want to talk about is Jesus Aguilar, who somehow made it all the way down to min price at just 2,000. This is a guy who we were paying almost 5K for, maybe even more. Yeah, more than 5K he hit. And that was just earlier in this month. And it's like, yeah, he's had a pretty rough stretch here, outside of these two games. Fully get it. But should this guy be 2,000 hitting in the heart of the order from Miami going up against Philadelphia? Absolutely not. So I'd kind of start my builds there with Miami stack. You could even throw in Jorge Soler if you want, hoping for one of those power games from him where he has like a 2-home run game. And then the other team I'd be targeting would be Arizona. Alec Thomas, he's got fantastic numbers. That's a little bit lower in the order for Arizona if he is in the lineup, but he's got nice numbers to go along there. And then catcher, Varsho, possibly leading off, lefty-righty matchup, good spots. I like Arizona just because I mentioned earlier, Castillo, you could see quite a bit of ownership with his upside. And, in years past, he has shown that he has that blow potential. So Arizona, I think could be going a little bit under the radar here. Even though they'd have a pretty decent team total, all things considered. So you throw these 5 guys in, we'll just throw in, maybe for GPP, you want to go Sonny Gray and just kind of hope that, in 4 or 5 innings, this guy can outperform everybody else. We'll just throw in our guy. We'll just throw in the most expensive. Yeah, you're a 4K remain. You can easily fit whoever you want. If you go with like a Miami and Arizona stack. So that kind of wraps things up. You can kind of see where everybody else is. Leverage is Seattle. I think Sonny Gray could see some ownership given, but yeah, I'm just rambling at this point. It's early in the morning. I'm tired. But yeah, it's an ugly slate. Please tread lightly on this one. Everything is kind of jumbled together. Nothing's really sticking out majorly, but it's kind of where I would be going. So we're gonna have another video out for the main slate. Mega Roar is going to be covering that one, so please go check that one out as well. And as always, good luck in your contests, especially this early slate, because yikes. And we will see you in the next video.